If you are over 60, I want you to stop scrolling right now. Not in a minute. Now. Because what I'm about to walk you through today could genuinely change how you move, how you feel, and how much freedom you carry into the years ahead of you. I'm making you a promise at the very start of this video. By the end, you'll know exactly which exercise I'm talking about. You'll know how to do it safely, you'll know how often, and why it matters so much for people your age. No part 2, no waiting. Everything lands right here, today. This morning, before I even sat down to film this, I stood up from my kitchen chair and thought about how many people watching this video probably did the exact same motion an hour ago without giving it a second thought. Sat down, stood up. Simple. Except for millions of people over 60, that motion isn't simple anymore. It's a small, quiet struggle, every single day. Most people believe walking is enough. Keep moving, keep strolling, keep those steps up. That's the advice we've all heard for decades from doctors, from magazines, from well-meaning family members. And walking is good. It really is. It helps your heart, your circulation, your mood. I'm not here to take that away from you. But here's what almost nobody tells people over 60. Walking alone will not protect you from one of the most overlooked risks to independence as we age. And that risk isn't your heart. It isn't your cholesterol. It's quieter than that. It's your muscle, slowly disappearing, year after year, if nothing challenges it to stay. Welcome, if you're new here. Welcome back, if you're not. I make videos exactly like this one, for people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who want to stay strong, steady, and independent, using information that's honest and grounded in real science, not hype. Let me ask you something plain and direct. Does standing up from a low chair take more effort than it used to? Do your legs feel a little shaky carrying something up the stairs? Are you grabbing the countertop, the armrest, the railing more than you did a few years ago, almost without noticing you're doing it? If yes, you are not broken, you are not weak, you are not alone. This is happening to millions of people right now, and there's a specific, almost mechanical reason why. Doctors have a name for it, sarcopenia, but I like to think of it differently. I call it the silent shrink, because that's exactly what it is, a slow, quiet shrinking of muscle that happens in the background of your life, without pain, without warning, without anyone sitting you down to explain it. Here's what's happening underneath the surface. Your muscle fibers, especially the fast twitch ones, the ones responsible for quick reactions, like catching your balance when you stumble, begin shrinking faster than your body can rebuild them. The tiny energy factories inside your cells, called mitochondria, become less efficient. Inflammation creeps up quietly. The communication line between your nerves and your muscles gets a little slower, a little foggier. Picture your legs like rubber bands that have sat in a drawer for years. They still look like rubber bands. But when you stretch them, they don't snap back the way they used to. They've lost their bounce, their power. That's the silent shrink at work. And walking, on its own, barely touches it. Walking is what's called a low-load activity. Your body weight is always partly supported by the ground beneath you. It's wonderful for circulation, wonderful for your mind, but it doesn't send a strong enough signal to your muscles to say, stay big, stay powerful, stay ready. Here's something worth sitting with for a moment. Some researchers who study aging have observed that leg strength appears to be one of the stronger indicators of whether someone stays independent into their 80s and 90s, arguably more telling than body weight, more telling than blood pressure, even more telling than daily step count. Specifically, how easily a person can rise from a seated position without pushing off with their hands. There's actually a real clinical tool built around this. It's called the sit-to-stand test, BBUF. Physical therapists sometimes call the version done over 30 seconds the 30-second independence score, because of what it seems to reveal about fall risk, frailty, and long-term mobility. It's not a perfect crystal ball, but it's one of the simplest windows we have into how your body is actually aging beneath the surface. So let's talk about the exercise itself. It's the chair squat, also called the sit-to-stand. And yes, I know it sounds too plain to be the answer to anything, but don't let that fool you. This single movement activates your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your glutes, your hips, your core, all at once. These are the exact muscles that keep you upright, keep you balanced, and let you do ordinary things without a second thought. Getting out of bed, climbing stairs, gardening, chasing a grandchild across the yard, standing at the sink long enough to finish the dishes without your lower back screaming at you. Here's why this beats walking so plainly for people over 60. When you walk, you're only ever lifting a fraction of your body weight, because one foot is always planted, always supporting you. But when you rise from a chair, you're lifting your entire body weight against gravity, in one continuous motion. That's real strength work, happening in your living room, using nothing but yourself. That's also exactly why someone can walk 2 miles a day and still struggle to get up off a low chair. It isn't laziness. Walking was simply never built to train that kind of raw, functional strength. Now, some of you are nervous right now. I can feel it through the screen. Maybe your knees aren't what they used to be. Maybe you've had a hip replacement. Maybe you're just plain afraid of getting hurt. That fear is fair. I understand it completely. I actually sat down with my own doctor, Dr. Julian Wells, to talk through this exact exercise, because I wanted to make sure I was handing you something genuinely safe, not just something that sounded good on camera. Dr. Julian Wells has spent years working with patients well into their 80s and 90s, and he told me something that stuck with me. He said the chair squat is often one of the very first movements prescribed in physical therapy and rehab programs, precisely because it's so controllable. You decide the depth, you decide the speed, and the chair is always right there behind you the entire time, ready to catch you. Dr. Julian Wells put it simply, this movement meets your body exactly where it is today, whether that's rising 3 inches or dropping into a full, deep squat. So let's walk through exactly how to do this, safely, step by step. Sit toward the front edge of a sturdy, stable chair, one that won't slide. A chair with armrests is ideal if you're just starting out. Feet flat on the floor, roughly shoulder-width apart. Knees bent at a comfortable angle. Chest lifted, not slumped forward. Lean your upper body very slightly forward from your hips, not your lower back, just enough to shift your weight over your feet. Press through your heels. Slowly rise to standing. Slow. No rushing here. Once you're standing, pause for a breath, knees soft, not locked. Then slowly bend your hips and knees and lower yourself back down, gently, until you're seated again. That full motion, 2, sit, stand, sit, is 1 repetition. If you need support in the beginning, press lightly on the armrests or your thighs as you rise. Completely fine. As weeks pass and strength builds, you can rely on your hands less, eventually crossing your arms over your chest so your legs do all the work. Here's a detail most people skip, but it genuinely matters. Your breathing. As you stand, breathe out slowly. As you lower down, breathe in through your nose. This small pattern helps stabilize your blood pressure through the movement, which matters more than you'd think for anyone over 60 who's sensitive to sudden shifts in position. Now, numbers. How many should you actually do? Some studies have suggested a possible link between higher repetition counts on the 30-second sit-to-stand test and lower reported rates of falls, though individual results vary quite a bit from person to person, and this isn't a race or a scoreboard. For your daily practice, forget the clock entirely. Start with whatever feels manageable and controlled today. 3 repetitions, 8, 12. The right number is the one where your muscles feel worked, but your joints feel completely fine. Do this most days of the week. Even 1 short set counts. Consistency, done gently, will always beat 1 intense session followed by 2 weeks of nothing. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Margaret. She's 78. I want to be upfront. This is one relatable example I want to share with you, not a guaranteed outcome, because every body responds differently. It was a Tuesday afternoon when Margaret slipped in her kitchen, the floor still a little damp from mopping earlier that day. Nothing serious happened physically, but something shifted in her mind. She told Dr. Julian Wells afterward that she'd started avoiding stairs, avoiding uneven sidewalks, even skipping visits to her daughter's house because the thought of unfamiliar steps frightened her. Dr. Julian Wells didn't hand her a complicated program, he gave her this: the chair squat, starting with 4 repetitions a day, hands on the armrests for support. Roughly 6 weeks later, as she described it to Dr. Julian Wells, she was doing far more repetitions without touching the chair at all. She told him that for the first time in over a year, she walked up her daughter's porch steps without holding the railing. She said her voice caught a little when she told him that, because it wasn't really about the steps. It was about getting a piece of her freedom back. I share her story not as a promise of what will happen to you, but as a picture of what's possible when a small, humble movement is given a real chance. This isn't about becoming an athlete. It isn't about six-pack abs. It's about protecting the version of you that can bend down for dropped keys, carry groceries in one trip, get up in the night without fear. That's what real strength offers after 60. Freedom. Now, responsibility matters here, so let's be clear. If you have a serious joint condition, recent surgery, severe osteoporosis, or any ongoing medical concern, please talk with your own doctor before starting, exactly the way Dr. Julian Wells recommends to every one of his own patients. Mild muscle tiredness afterward is normal, even a good sign. Sharp pain is not. If you feel that, stop and check in with your doctor. Let's address the doubts quietly sitting in your mind right now. My knees hurt too much. Then don't go as deep. Even a small range, lead chows, rising a few inches and sitting back, bridge toe, still builds strength over time. A cushion or two raised on the chair softens the load on your knees while you build confidence. My back bothers me. Keep your chest tall, move slowly. Let your legs carry the work instead of your spine. I haven't exercised in years. Your body hasn't forgotten how to get stronger. It just needs a reason to start again. 2 repetitions today is a completely respectable beginning. Nobody's grading you. Fit this into your day the easy way. Don't schedule it like a workout you'll forget by Thursday. Attach it to something you already do. A few chair squats before breakfast, a few while the coffee brews, a few during a commercial break in the evening. Habits that hitch themselves onto routines you already have tend to stick. That's just how habits work. As weeks pass and your body adapts, and it will adapt, there are gentle ways to add challenge without adding risk. Slow the lowering phase down. Count to 3 as you sit. 1, 2, 3, before you touch the seat. That slower descent asks more of your muscles. Or pause for 1 second just above the chair before sitting fully. Small shifts, big results, over time. I want to speak honestly now about something rarely said out loud: the emotional weight of feeling physically limited. When standing up gets harder, people quietly start saying no. No to the upstairs family gathering. No to the walking tour on vacation. No to babysitting the grandkids because keeping up feels exhausting. Slowly, without anyone noticing it happening, life gets smaller. That shrinking isn't permanent. When your legs feel capable again, something shifts in your mind too. You start saying yes again. Yes to the trip. Yes to the stairs. Yes to the birthday party across town. Physical strength and emotional confidence are tangled together tighter than most people realize. I'm not telling you to abandon walking. Walking still nourishes your heart, your circulation, your mood. Think of it this way. Walking feeds your heart. The chair squat feeds your muscles, your joints, your balance. Together, they finish each other's sentence. If you already walk daily, wonderful. Simply add a short set of chair squats before or after, and within a few weeks, many people notice their walk itself starting to feel steadier, easier, less draining than before. So what does real change actually look like over time? I promised you an honest answer, not a fairy tale, so here it is. In the first week, the movement usually just feels a little less awkward. By week 2 or 3, many people notice they're relying less on their hands to rise, and they feel a touch steadier moving around their own home. By 4 to 6 weeks, some people report getting out of the car feels easier. Some notice climbing a flight of stairs doesn't leave them breathless or white-knuckling the railing quite the same way. Standing at the sink doesn't tire the lower back the way it once did. And for many, that quiet, background fear of falling, the one so many people over 60 carry everywhere without saying it out loud, begins to soften, because the body has started proving to the mind that it can be trusted again. This is what change actually looks like. Rarely one dramatic moment, usually dozens of small, quiet wins, stacked one on top of another, until one day you notice you're moving through your life with an ease you'd honestly forgotten was possible. Here's what I want you to do, right now, or the moment this video ends. Find a sturdy chair, sit at the edge, stand up slowly, sit back down slowly. Do that a few times. That's it. That's the whole beginning. Not tomorrow. Not once you feel ready. Readiness comes from starting, not the other way around. If this gave you something useful today, tap the like button. It genuinely helps this reach other people your age who need to hear it. And if you'd like more honest, grounded guidance like this for staying strong and steady in the years ahead, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Tell me in the comments how many chair squats you managed today. 2, 5, 15, whatever it was. Tell me your age too, if you're comfortable. I read every comment, and it genuinely shapes what I make next. Before you go, take one slow breath with me. Drop your shoulders. Your strength was never lost forever. It's been quietly waiting for you to ask your body for it again. You are not too old, and you are not out of time. One chair, a few minutes, real consistency, and a last tuations, that's genuinely all this takes. And if this one movement felt like a lot to think about today, wait until the next video, because I'm going to show you the second movement Dr. Julian Wells uses with patients who've already mastered this one. It's Cranty, a balance drill that takes less than 2 minutes and directly targets the fear of falling itself. You will not want to miss that one. This video is for general educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. It is not a substitute for professional medical guidance. Please consult your physician, physical therapist, or another qualified healthcare provider before beginning this or any new exercise routine, especially if you have an existing medical condition, joint issue, cardiovascular concern, or history of falls or surgery. Individual results vary, and no specific outcome is guaranteed. If you experience pain, dizziness, or discomfort at any point, stop immediately and seek medical attention.